Hello, my name is Shadley and welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as Mexico. In previous episode we managed to take Panama itself, which, to be fair, was relatively easy war against New Granada, if I remember correctly. It's been a fair few days since the last recording session, and the first episodes have gone out, and I would like to thank everyone that's been leaving comments and liking the videos and all that. It's been really nice to see the video doing well. And I hope that you have indeed been enjoying the video, but anyway, we are now losing a decent bit of money, but let's actually unpause for a little bit to see how the money situation evolves. We are getting a bit more paper mills done. We got one completed now, and then we got a second one later on over there. So we are slowly expanding our stuff. Let's have a look at the market prices a little bit. So tea is very high, porcelain is very high, fine art is very high. There is actually now buy orders for fine art though. So I suppose the fine art in Rio Grande that we have is now able to at least produce full speed. We could probably even give that another level, although it's not really going to be that much profit. And I suppose how much it employs 1,000 people, is mostly aristocrats and academics. Which, to be fair, do have a decent standard of living at least, so it's not too bad. So we could potentially give that another level, or we can just, try to get a little bit more industry going, which would probably be for the best. Plus, we've got so many things under construction right now that adding more into the thing is probably not going to be very helpful. But we do have 50 construction speed right now, and we've got... Right, so the Motor Industries University and Tooling Workshop. Tooling Workshop is going to be really nice, because we do have a bit of a lack of tools. It's not a massive lack of it, admittedly, but there is definitely a lack of tools to go along with all the other things that we got going. We also got a little bit of a lack of authority right now, but that's probably partially because the Catholic Church is rather upset. Once we can get them to be happy again, then that will probably solve the issue, for the time being anyway. But right now we are largely just waiting for Oregon, or the truce with Oregon, to expire. We've still got a truce up until, well, another 6 months. So that's probably going to be maybe even in this war. So what we'll probably do is we'll take Oregon itself and we'll remove the claim on Idaho, so we can start colonizing the area over here, because we don't actually have any colonies active right at this moment. So that's going to be taking a while. And actually, another thing that was, or one thing that was pointed out in the comments was that we should probably try to open up Marina's market, just as a bit of a nod for the previous playthrough. But I'm thinking that we might take a trade port or treaty port in here, so that I can trade with them, but none of the others might be able to. I'm not actually entirely sure if that works. I've rarely used the treaty port myself, but we'll find out. Oh, there we go, another university. And was that a journal thing for the... Oh, philosophy department, yes. There we go. So that should be completed. So let's see, what do we have? University building throughput for 5 years plus 25%. That's actually pretty decent for the extra innovation, I suppose. Actually, does that increase the innovation? I suppose it should. Oh yes, it does. There we go. So now we got a 73 innovation for a little bit. Our max would be at 86.5, so we still got a bit of ways to go to that one. Oh, now that we're getting an iron mine, that is actually... Yes, we're getting some of the investment pool transfers again. We do have 7 million in there, so we probably should work on a little bit more things that we can actually utilize. But I suppose there's the iron mines. I don't suppose the... No, the railway doesn't seem to be counted in there. Or maybe the railway is, but the iron mine isn't. Actually, I think that's the way that is. Alright then, so we're getting the motor industry, so we'll immediately start building railways, or we are already building some railways to give us a bit of demand for the engines. And plus we can get a little bit of transport going, and we can then start, especially in places with low population. Also, one of the things that I, by accident spotted, if you press Q, it's going to open up the ledger down here. I didn't even realize the ledger was a thing in this. But anyway, over here we can quite easily see the GDP, for example. So we are still quite a bit behind Prussia, but we're about 1 million ahead of Spain in GDP. So that's quite nice. In terms of the standard of living, in terms of the top 10 at least, we are actually not too bad. I mean, we've got higher standard of living than USA has. Or the average standard of living, of course. There's not a massive difference there. It's a 0.1. God's will. We'll give Liberal Party a bit of a boost there. So, Conservative Party is fairly strong there. Is there... Oh, right. So what else are the parties? So, this is not in a party, and the Rural Folk are one of the bigger groups that we have in terms of all the support in the interest groups. So that's quite an interesting one. Then there's the clergy. is probably the second. Yeah, that's the second biggest one. After that, it's fairly close between armed forces and intelligentsia. And then after that, it gets... Oh, right. We could have an agitator. What do we have in there? Elected bureaucrats. Okay, that's a... Oh, trade unionists. It could be useful. Let's have a look at the law. So we've got the appointed bureaucrats, which does increase intelligentsia's political strength. Of course, if we switch to that one, well, the bureaucracy institution cost modifier would go down, which is kind of useful. But I think we'll go with the appointed bureaucrats for the time being. There's a lot of support for the law, so that is going to allow us to keep the legitimacy pretty high, which is already at 100%, admittedly, but we can start getting a bit more loyalist and reduce the radical numbers a tiny bit. It's not going to be very rapid reduction in there or anything. So 5 more weeks for the motor industries in Veracruz, and after that we are getting a bit of railways first in Nevada, which, if I remember correctly, it had the gold fields there, which is costing it a lot. Yeah, so it does need a bit of extra infrastructure there for sure. There are few unemployed there, at least, so we can set up the railways, not necessarily full speed, but at least we can set it up. And I suppose we could put in the extra transportation production, so the infrastructure, how much would it actually, so it's 20 per, okay, so we can, probably 15 will be more than enough. In there, actually, what I suppose I should do is go to development and switch all the railways to use the wooden passenger carriages. And all the barracks should be using mobile artillery. I think there may have been a few that we got, like in Panama or something, that weren't using. Oh, and we do have a naval base in here, actually. Oh, now that we are building a second railway, I believe, we are getting, yeah, we're getting a lot more money. I mean, we're still losing money, but we're not losing too fast. And we still got over 1 million gold reserves, so I'm not too worried about sort of running out of cash anytime soon. Plus, once we get through some of this, we could probably just, actually, is there anything that we need particularly right now? Groceries is something that we could use. Clothing, iron, fish is, okay, so if we were to get a bit of fisheries, for example, maybe get one fishing wharf over here. Oh, we can use fishing trawlers, right, I forgot about that one. Well, we might as well build one regardless. Well, let's have a look at the, how many fisheries do we have? 10. Okay, we were using fishing trawlers already on some of them. I'm going to add that in, so that's going to increase the amount of fish that we have. We may need to build a bit more, well, I suppose if we were to put the reinforced wooden ships, we could get a bit more clippers. At least we're making pretty good profit in here. I suppose we could just build another level for this. Admittedly, we might be producing a bit too many man of wars along this, so actually, instead of building one over there, let's take, for example, this one. We'll build a shipyard that is solely building civilian ships. So we can sort of throttle the amounts that we need the military ships and then at the same time build more civilian shipping. Or we can balance it out, let's just say. Right, and now we're getting a barracks, but we are actually getting a pretty good amount of money. I suppose with the double railway, it does help. The grand plan plays off. The leader of the Catholic Church has been studiously working behind the scenes for some time now, and at last all his work has paid off for Catholic Church and Mexico. Momentum of Conservative Party. Oh, loan interest. Oh. We don't have any loans yet, but gold reserve limit plus 20% seems like a good idea. Of course, that means that all the buildings are now, well, a lot of, oh, there we go. Conservative Party won. Free Trade Party did gain a decent bit of votes, at least. So let's have a look. That we could bring in the industrialists into the government and still have very high legitimacy. So I will take that. And now we got some more laws that we could try passing. How much is the... Industrialists have 17% clout. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. So could we switch to the interventionism? The rule fork would oppose that a little bit, but it's not going to be too bad. It's going to reduce the, I believe, the infrastructure levels, or was that the... No, agriculture and logging industry throughput a little bit. But that's manageable. And if we can pass the interventionism, we can then start using the investment pool a lot more, which means that we can increase our construction speed drastically. And then, you know, have the GDP climb up a lot faster. Let's have a look at the ledger again. So how much of a difference do we have? We've still got 4.4 million to Prussia. Okay, so that's quite a bit. They also have a lot more prestige than we do. But at least we're slowly gaining some ground there. Right, so we are increasing the army size a tiny bit. It's not going to be a massive increase in army, admittedly, but we do need to have a bit larger army if we are to fight the Americans, because they do have, well, luckily they are protective of us. Oh, and they are in a war right now. Supporting Liberia against Great Britain. Wait, no, they were supporting Britain against Liberia. Alright then. Not exactly what I was expecting. But sure, you do you. Right, but I wanted to check their army size. So they've got 140 regulars and 400 conscripts that they can have. And that's battalions, of course, so that is quite a bit. And yeah, the clipper shortage is pretty rough right now. I mean, we are going to be building the shipyard soon enough, but there's a few things over here that we still need to build. And I suppose now that we're not building quite as many railways anymore, I mean, at least we did get the railway in here, and that is now providing the infrastructure needed for Nevada. So at least, you know, that's doing fine. And how much do we still have? Okay, Arizona, Sonora, and Mexico itself I have low infrastructure levels. Let's have a look at Sonora. So where is this one? Wait, hold on a minute. Was it? Oh, it's this one. Right, this is where the iron mines are. Yeah, we'll build a railway there. I suppose, let's have a look at the... I suppose one of the things that we can see is through here, the amount of labor available. The Jalisco, Mexico, Baja, and Yucatan have quite a bit. And we can see the infrastructure levels as well. Okay, that's actually quite handy. We should probably... We do have quite a bit of bureaucracy right now, so let's go ahead and start incorporating Panama. That will be done fairly quickly. Is there any other... Oh, that could be incorporated. New Mexico. This could be incorporated. California already is. Nevada already is. I suppose Utah we can start incorporating. And Idaho we can start incorporating. Some of these will take actually quite a bit of time. But, you know, we've got the time, we've got a decent bit of bureaucracy. Do we have actually any more institutions? Oh, yes, we could increase the education, although that does increase the Catholic Church political strength quite a bit. Or we could increase the law enforcement a little bit, or we can just do both. It's a bit expensive, but we can do both. And please... Oh, popular playwright endorses reform. We got a decent bit of... Well, we got some prestige already. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to take the 10% extra chance to get forward with this law, because we do want to get that one. Because that would reduce the cost of construction drastically. Or at least we wouldn't have to pay all the cost for it. We're getting another arms industry. How is the arms situation? Okay, so artillery and small arms are a little bit lacking in both of them. But we are getting a decent upgrade in there. And I do apologize for any background noise that might be happening. There's a bit of construction going on outside, so there might be occasional noise from there. But it's luckily not constant noise. Not today, anyway. Right, so power of the purse, that's going to be 6 to 8 months. And we are getting the mechanized workshops already slowly spreading. And once we're done with the intensive agriculture, we are going to be switching to that one as well. So we can get that quicker, because that's going to allow us to get more stuff going on. Textile mills, furniture manufacturing, and it's going to lead to some other things in there. And the intensive agriculture is just good for extra food, because right now the grain price isn't, well, it's a little bit elevated, but if we could start reducing the price drastically there, that would be quite handy. We got a bit of lead shortage. Do we have, okay, we could build a lead mine in our capital, actually. Suppose we could do that. And also, oh, gold depleted in Sonora. It is unfortunate, so we can now build a gold mine at least. And that will be quite useful, although, yeah, we got the railway underway there eventually. We are getting another port in there. Oh, right, we started getting a port in there. Okay, that's actually quite nice as well, because it's going to increase the infrastructure already. And I believe the port is... No, actually, the port is not counted as part of infrastructure, oddly enough. So we're not getting the investment pool transfers from there, but it's alright. We are going to be losing quite a bit of money here right now, though, so we might want to bring in the fishing wharves a little bit higher on the list here, to get a little bit of reduction in cost. And then in Yucatan, we could probably get another... actually, we're going to get a coffee plantation there. Law debate success. Okay, so we get another 10% chance of passing it. So, President is annexing some subjects in India. Down there. Okay, so they're slowly incorporating all of this, I guess. I do have Hong Kong as well. Overall, there's not too much happening in the world yet. I mean, Prussia has expanded a little bit. I think Austria... Well, they got quite a bit of land in here. Two Sicilies is fairly strong in Italy. And of course, France is France. And Great Britain is Great Britain. But yeah, there's not necessarily too much happening in there yet. But I believe we don't have a truce with Oregon anymore, do we? No, we don't. We've got poor relations with them. So, now we could go for a way to conquer Oregon. That'd be 8 infamy. We could probably afford that one at least. There's a few nations that could join. I don't think any of them will join because our infamy is small enough. Well, let's start that. Can I add in another war goal to revoke claim in Idaho? That is No infamy. It does cost a bit of maneuvers though, but no infamy. So we could potentially even get Washington as a war goal then. Of course, it's very likely that they'll just give up immediately, so I'm actually going to push this one into the primary. And so at least we'll get this and that one, even if they give up. But let's just go ahead and activate our troops from Mexico and just bring them in here. That'll probably be good enough in terms of troops. I mean, they got a little bit of troops. I don't think their troops are all that great quality compared to ours. That will already help quite a bit. Alright, so now we've got the fishing wall, so that is at least offsetting some of the cost in here. Oh, Hudson Bay Company is improving relations. So yeah, since they're fearful, I don't think they will actually sort of fight the war. As soon as it goes to the escalation, or rather the last phase of the diplomatic play here, they'll probably surrender. So I'm wondering if I should add in another conquest state. If I go for the Washington, that is 7 infamy, 17 maneuvers. We're going to do that, and then if I add that at primary, will that increase? Okay, that's 4 extra infamy, but we can afford that. We can't call anyone in at this stage now, but hopefully we don't have to. And if we could take both of these states and remove their claim over here, then we can consolidate this area, and we'll have another 2. I mean, actually, why is that? There's wheat farms, lots of wheat farms potential in here, in Oregon, and then logging camps. Nothing metal-wise. We've got some coal in Washington, apparently. And then Idaho, we've got some logging camps, but that's... Oh, right, that's the only jobs in here. They are unable to fully hire because they have... probably not enough qualifications, actually. That could be it. Well, it's slowly recruiting them regardless, I suppose. Probably address goes awry. Okay. We take a 1 step back and get a high chance, but a slower enactment time. We can take minus 50% of success chance. I'm going to take the minus 15% success chance. We've still got over 20%. I'd say we've still got okay chances of passing. I mean, the stall is only 14% in there, so we've still got higher chance of getting positive outcomes than negative outcomes, I dare say. So that's going to be alright. And are they going to be... They are fearful. They're wanting to return Idaho, or get Idaho back, but that's not going to happen, pal. That is not going to happen. How much is their pops in here, actually? That's 300,000 and 238,000. It's about 500,000. A bit more than that. Against the odds. I think they're fairly in their position, so that does mean that the rule folk, not the Catholic Church and the petty bourgeoisie are a little bit upset about that one. Unfortunately, we are losing a lot of money right now, so I think, well, we've got the coffee plantation. I'm going to put that to the top of the list to offset some of the costs. And of course, we are slowly getting more and more things. There we go. War has broken out. So this time we are actually fighting them. But we got the advantage in numbers and the quality of troops, so this should be relatively simple fight. We'll just march through, and they didn't get anyone to help them, which is always nice. Ah, we've got diplomatic ties with Prussia now. Oh, and I suppose another thing that I could do is I could do some more trading. We've got convoys, we've got bureaucracy. Let's see, we need... Clothing would probably be a smart one. Or more wood. Let's have a look. Wood. Well, no, the productivity is kind of rubbish. Fortunately, we could maybe buy some from either Prussia or Austria. Russian market is actually slightly better profitability, so I guess we'll do that one. It's not going to be a lot of tariffs that we'll get from there, admittedly. But it's better than nothing. Tools, we are... Did we get another tooling workshop already? We did. So we still are having a bit of a lack of it. Although it's entirely possible that tooling workshop isn't... No, it is actually in full production already. Never mind. Do we have... We got the steel tools already in there. Okay, so I suppose... Well, yeah, we're building a lot, but we still have a bit of a lack of tools there. So I guess we can get another level in there. So, are we going to get a battle here shortly? There we are. 20 versus 6. We got a bit of blunder on our side, so we are going to be taking a bit of extra casualties. They got a good... Oh, well, how the tables turn. So Rabbit advanced, and they've got a blunder now, so they should be over very shortly. And we should be able to capture a decent chunk of land, I reckon. Now we're taking the loan, so we're going to help to 5 million. So we can probably survive a little bit, and I suppose if we were to get a bit more things related to... Ooh, actually, how's the population in California? There's 30,000 peasants in there, so let's get a wheat farm in here. Put that to the top of the list as well. So we're going to start getting a little bit more money from the investment pool. There we go, we took a decent chunk of land here. I'm hoping that we can now Oh yeah, they're low on morale and manpower, so we should be able to break through the enemy lines here shortly. But the sooner we can pass intervention is the better, because that's then going to allow us to build the factories with the investment pool money as well. And that is where we will start growing much quicker in terms of economy anyway. Law debate success. Okay, so we're back to 33%. Another small battle here. Well, we've still got almost a full manpower in these troops, whereas they only have a fraction of what they could have. Ooh, law enforcement and education increase now, so we should be able to get a bit more literary rate going up, which is going to be quite nice. So most of Oregon is already conquered. They are probably losing the war support. Yeah, they are losing the war support fairly quickly, especially since we are conquering their capital state, I believe. So that means that, well, it's Oregon, so Oregon being the capital state. Yeah, it is their capital state, in fact. So that is going to allow their war support to go down a lot faster. I'm just going to put in these already in there. I know that they won't take the peace deal yet, but I'll just do what I can in the meanwhile. I don't suppose... No, we don't have anything that is giving us more investment pool transfers, so let's just go ahead and put in another maize farm, I suppose. I should probably put it to the top of the list again, just to offset the debt increasing in there. There we go, that's going to be another victory over here shortly. There we go. They're down to 20 war support. Oh, and there we go, intensive agriculture unlocked. So, we can go into the rural stuff here. I'll start using the soil enriching stuff. Maize farms, we could actually start using a bit of tools there. We don't necessarily have a lot of tools yet, but, you know, it's not the worst. That's going to reduce the labor need quite a bit, and then livestock farm, of course, can start using the intensive grazing, so that's going to reduce a little bit of the grain. But at the same time, we'll be able to get a lot more. Is there... We could maybe go for the butchering tools, but so that meat price is basically going to collapse, to be fair. So no, we're not going to do that yet. Not yet. Later on, perhaps, but not yet. On logging camps, so we should... Actually, no. We got some that aren't in the hardwood production, but that's fine. So then, do we have a chemical plant yet? No, we don't. That's probably something that we should do, though, soon enough. They are now at 20%, say 13 points of war support, rather. So this is going to be a quick victory soon enough. Well, I say it was probably going to take a few more months at least before they will surrender. But they are losing the war support very rapidly, and the battles are very easy victories for us. So in due time, they will surrender. We do have a little bit of troops. Oh, right, we don't have any troops in Pacific Coast yet. We do have a little bit of peasants in here, at least, but I suppose the... Okay, is there sulfur price? So we're not producing quite at full speed in here. Actually, now we're producing a bit more. Because the coal and tooling price could be a bit better. We could maybe start using a bit of the transportation... No, the transportation price is bloody massive already. Is there any other areas that we have? Okay, Arizona has low market access. So if we were to build a railway in here, that might help a little bit. Oh, we've got a railway underway now. Okay, Descenders break ranks. We could take the setback, maybe. Or take another... I'm gonna take the setback. At least we are getting a little bit increase in passing the law, regardless. Because we need this law. Well, I suppose it's probably going to be about 5 weeks more. And then they'll probably surrender. We've already entered into what is modern-day Canada. We advance in here. That's quite nice. Oh, wow. Actually, we advanced a little bit through here, from Idaho. And then we've advanced a lot from California and Nevada. That's kind of where the main push has come from. Ah, there we go. Now they'll accept the peace deal. Right, let's have a look at the stuff in here. We're not using glass in there yet. We could probably do that, though, because we do need a bit more services. I suppose the public trams, I mean, that is still a bloody massive price, so I'm not going to touch that one. I'm just going to go through these buildings real quick. There we go, so we actually got a little bit more troops, as well as another flotilla. So we've got total of 2. They are completely different theaters, So that's our strategic region, so that doesn't really help us. Oh, but now we can start colonizing in here, I believe. Let's have a look. Establish colony. Yeah, there we go. We'll get one county every 50 days. Or one sort of province in here every 50 days. So that should be pretty good. So we could potentially declare another war against Oregon later on and get into Canada as well. But I'm not going to do that quite yet. But at least we've got all of that now sorted. Well, for the most part. So Idaho is going to be getting a lot more population in there, actually. We are still losing a bit of money, though. But I'm hoping that the interventionism will pass sooner rather than later. Also getting the lead mine in our capital now, which is quite nice. We do need a bit more lead. Actually, let's have a look at the market. How is it looking now? So luxury clothing is very bad. Oh, did we get the interest declare in... No, we don't have any interest declare. Okay, so we're going to go into southern China, just so we can start importing some silk, so we can start making our own luxury clothing, which is then going to... Oh, gold discovered in California. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Right, there's even more gold fields now. Admittedly, we've lost some of the gold fields already, but we managed to gain quite a bit of money from them, so I'm not too worried about it. The shipyard is about to be done, so that's going to allow us to get a lot more clippers. How's the engine situation, actually? We're overusing them a tiny bit, but it's not too bad yet. Leather we need definitely a lot more. Transportation we need a lot more, so we do need to get a bit more railways, which we do have a little bit underway. Ah, there we go. Now we've got this South China interest activated, so let's go ahead and start importing some silk. Oh! Wait a minute, we can't trade with Chinese, can we? We could probably import some from the British market, I guess. Probably not going to be all that great price for it, but we're going to get started on that one. And then I suppose what we'll do is we'll switch this one to use the silk now. So that's going to take 20 silk, a bit less clothing, but a lot more luxury clothing. So overall, I think that's going to be quite nice. And that's going to put some... Oh, debate failed. Oh dear. So that's going to put in some pressure for the imports to bring in more silk from the British market. I suppose over here we could maybe build another logging camp. I mean, are they are now fully... Well, almost fully employed. Okay, so not quite yet then. Got a bit of logging camps over here. Which actually, is there... There's a bit of population extra in here. So it's not too bad. We're getting the gold field or gold mine in Sonora now. And after that, we're going to get another tooling workshop. I would actually hesitate to put the wheat farm first in here. It's going to take a while. Especially with the construction efficiency being what it is. But actually, that's fine. Because if we could just keep it at the third slot over there in the construction. So it's not going to be built very quickly. But it is being built, so that is going to give us a bit of investment pool transfers, which reduces the speed that we take debt at. Would be quite nice. Let's have a look at the ledger again. So how much... If we have a look at the GDP... Ottomans are actually the number 10 right now. So we're slowly getting up there. I mean, we've still got about 5 million, or 4.5 million at least, to get to the same level as the Ottomans are right now. Ah, mechanized workshops. Good. And power to purse. Right, let's figure out what do we want to research next. I think we should... well, we got something in the military right now. We could maybe go for the percussion cap to unlock the munitions, or shell guns. Or triage could be actually quite nice as well. On the other hand, we could get the egalitarianism to unlock some more parties. And unlock the better taxation laws. Although I don't know if there's going to be any support for those laws, admittedly, but at least we can unlock them. And then over here, I think we are going to go for the chemical bleaching at this stage. I don't know if that's going to be starting to spread to us or not, but we'll get that regardless. Eventually. So we did gain quite a bit of radicals from that conquest, admittedly. Oh, nitroglycerin is pretty... Okay, that's actually not a bad one. I could maybe go for nitroglycerin first. And then maybe for the chemical bleaching or something. We do need to... Oh, right. And we did get the stuff for the textile mills. Do we want to switch all of these? Not necessarily right now. But we can go for the sewing machines at least. That's going to increase the tool use a bit more. And dye use a bit more. And fabric use a bit more. But at the same time, that's going to be a lot of extra clothing. Which is definitely good news for us. And in the furniture manufacturing, we could go for the mechanized workshop. Which increases furniture production quite a bit. Does increase the tool and wood consumption, of course, a little bit. And it actually increases employment in total as well. Okay, that's actually quite nice. It reduces the laborers, so that increases the average wage of the workers there a little bit, which admittedly can be quite handy. And then we can go... Oh, right, let's go for the standardized filing cabinet system, so we've got quite a bit more bureaucracy now. So actually, let's go ahead and start incorporating these two states. So we get those incorporated. Let's just double check that there's nothing else. Okay, Colorado we could incorporate as well. It's going to take a while, and then I suppose we could get another level on an institution somewhere. Colonial affairs maybe, but I don't think we necessarily need to go too high on that one. We could go for the extra law enforcement, I suppose, so we do have a bit of turmoil, especially in the newly conquered areas. So we do need to reduce that quite a bit, I reckon. But our standard of living is now 11.6. Still nothing massive, but it's better. Did we reduce the food price a bit in the process, or the grain price? A little bit. It's not too bad. It could still be lower, I suppose, but it's not too bad by a long shot. Let's go ahead and actually, what did we have? So this is a wheat farm. There's a lot of wheat farms in here that could be built. I suppose we are going to turn Oregon into a massive farm. So now we've got 2 farms being built there. It's not going to be very quick, but that gives us a decent bit of money. But I do realize we are actually out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also got the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.